for so many years they would just break, and they always find a new way to break our hearts.
Yeah.
It feels like every year we think this is the year. This last year nobody saw coming. Nobody expected.
People forget that it was a rebuild year, kind of, and then you guys rattle off a really great year.
Yeah.
We're talking about Sam Darnold being MVP until week 16, and then one thing leads to another.
Yeah, but he played unbelievably well. I mean, that one's a little bit. That one's. I mean, I get it. Because JJ's the guy, but he played so well, and I get that, he didn't really perform those last 2 games the way we wanted, but it was his first time under that kind of pressure, under those lights, and I feel like, he's a legit player with the right team and the right coach sort of leading him.
And that was very hard for me to digest, the production that Sam Darnold had with the guy waiting, JJ McCarthy, to let that man leave the building. And if you look what he signed for, $30 million.
Yeah.
$35 million. It's a bridge quarterback contract.
Yeah. Well, he lost a lot of money those last 2 games.
He did. But to the point, does that mean McCarthy's the guy? Do you believe in McCarthy? You think he's the guy? Do you believe in what KOC sees in McCarthy?
Well, I have to, because KOC he's a smart dude.
Smart guy.
I went to the last couple of games, and JJ looks small. Maybe it's because he's rehabbing the knee or whatever.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a big quarterback, and I'm hoping he's going to be durable enough.
And Sam Darnold's a big guy.
Yeah, he is a big guy.
When you see these guys, like, he's a big dude.
Yeah. So I trust KOC though.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, these guys, they obviously believe in the kid. I loved him at Michigan. He's a winner.
Yeah. So what if the JJ McCarthy starts the season, they go 0-3. They 0-2, maybe 1-3. Then all of a sudden, Aaron Rodgers.
I knew this was coming.
Aaron Rodgers decided not to sign anywhere. Is sitting there. Are you wanting Aaron Rodgers?
I didn't want Favre when we got him that first time, because he was a Packer.
Yeah.
But he came to us and had one of his greatest years of his career.
Fun year.
And I do like Aaron. I've met him several times over the years at these golf tournaments and whatnot. He's always given me, Vikings suck. I was like, where'd that come from? I look over, there's Aaron. But so we've always had a fun back and forth about, the Vikings and the Packers. And it just, how weird would that be to have him do the exact same thing that Favre did?
It's crazy.
He could do it. He can still play. He can still sling it like nobody else. So,
who would you rather take, him or Kirk Cousins?
Ooh, Rodgers all day.
Rodgers all day.
Because Rodgers is clutch, man. I like Kirk. I thought that Kirk, I grew to really like the guy, but I just don't think he's the guy that's ever going to get you over the top.
Yeah.
I just don't. He's great stats. Great. He gets you a lot of wins. He throws for a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns, but he never seems to win that big game where Rodgers can, and he has.
Yeah.
Once,
but he's also come back and won a lot of big games for them.
He also lost
Certainly
Jimmy
more than
Garoppolo
Cousins.
in the playoffs in Lambeau. I'm just saying, what's life like growing up in North Dakota?
Life in North Dakota was pretty awesome, I have to say. I couldn't wait to get out of there as my younger years, but then now as a middle-aged man, I've really grown to love the place, and it's a great place to grow up.
Now, does everyone in that region, you guys all gravitate towards Minnesota? What's the sports fandom of people in the states that don't have a pro team? Like, how does that work?
It's usually Minnesota. A lot of
Regionally,
Packer fans,
a lot of
Packer fans, a few Broncos fans, but it's mostly Vikings. It's the T-Wolves, it's the Wild, it's the Vikings, it's the Twins, it's the Lynx.
What was your hierarchy of sports growing up?
What do you mean?
What was your favorite?
It was football and basketball.
Football?
Yeah, football,
so
basketball.
it was Vikings and T-Wolves?
Well, I was actually a Cowboys fan growing up.
Cowboys fan?
It's weird, yeah, because I was like that guy who's going to be the anti whatever.
Yeah.
And then so I always liked I always liked the Vikings, but because they were always on. But for whatever reason, from a young kid, I liked the Cowboys. But then I think it was after I left when I was 22 years old, I really started missing not seeing those games on Sundays, and I became like my connection back to home.
Yeah.
And I became a full-on Vikes fan. But yeah, the Vikings. I'm a huge UFC fan now too.
Yeah.
I think that's my number 2.
Number 2, who's your fighter? Who do you like watching?
I really like Patty the Batty right now.
Patty the Batty.
It's pretty amazing.
You know what? Who's the dude that Not Khabib, the guy who is like Khabib that just beat Sugar Shane. He's
Makachev?
maybe.
Is it Makachev? I forget. Those Dagestanis, man.
Dude, anytime there's a stand on a country, you don't fight that person.
No.
Those guys are nuts,
They're just a different level.
Like, they're just technicians. They fucking practice on bears. They fucking...
They really do. They really do. They wrestle bears, apparently.
Like, when they were talking about this whole 100 guys versus a fucking gorilla, I said, why don't we rephrase that? 100 Russians and people from those countries versus a gorilla? I'm taking those people.
Yeah.
Those people are nuts.
The ground game is unmatched, bro.
Well, what did you look it up? Was it Makachev?
I'm looking here. It's Marav Davashvili.
Oh,
I'm
Davashvili,
butchering the pronunciation.
Davashvili, I think it is.
Yeah, that was back in September.
Yeah. I got a question I want to ask you, too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Back to football for a second. Yeah. As a college quarterback, like, I'm fascinated by the fact that you played college quarterback and then went on to become this amazing NFL wide receiver. There's a guy right now from Montana State.
I heard about him.
What's his name? I should know this.
Raiders got him?
Raiders got him, but they drafted the NDSU quarterback right after him, like one pick apart, who beat them in the national championship.
Tommy Mallet?
Tommy Mallet, yeah. And who's the NDSU quarterback that got drafted right next to him?
They did Cam Miller.
Cam Miller, who's also he could actually be a legit quarterback. Anyway, Tommy Mallet, I remember watching this dude. He was a freshman, and they also played NDSU as a freshman in the national championship game. Hurt his knee and couldn't play. But he switched from like a running back, wide receiver to play quarterback because he's such an athlete.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that fascinates me. And I think I might know why it works, because you got to have crazy athletic ability like you have. This guy's got it too in spades. But to take a quarterback knowing that you're going to switch him to wide receiver, is it because they have such an understanding of what is happening on the defense and they help the quarterback sort of read it with? He's almost like a quarterback at the receiver position, and it makes it that much easier for the quarterback to sort of be in simpatico with him?
I think that's what you're hoping when you draft a quarterback that's going to change positions. Mm-hmm. Now, for me, the ecosystem that I was brought into was a little different because I was going to a winning team that could take shots on guys that they didn't have to really develop because they had a team.
Yeah.
You know, and so it worked for me. A lot of these guys, if you get drafted somewhere and the team's not good and the coaching staff's got a little heat under their seat, you know, those opportunities go away and the time for development for the kid goes away because they got to ultimately get the team ready to go out and perform its best.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of those guys get lost under the rug. But I would say that's what you're hopeful for with a quarterback that's converting to another position. Because that was a strength of mine. I always knew the quarterback tedious things that receivers would do, not getting flat to downhill on an in cut.
Right.
You know, protecting throws on out cuts.
Right.
You know, giving great body language at the top of routes so you're decisive enough for the quarterback to be able to make a decision. I think that's what played a huge part, but you have to have that.
Because you know what the quarterback is looking for. You know what he needs because you've been in his position, so you know what makes it easy for him to find you.
Without a doubt. And it also comes down to processing speed. So usually quarterbacks, if you're a quarterback, your processing speed's usually faster because you have to see what the defensive line's doing. You have to take a pre-snap coverage of the coverage and then a post-snap because you always change with the safeties.
Right, but not all receivers can do that.
But the slot guys that are working a lot of the middle of the field, they have to.
Yeah. It's fascinating, man. I love this stuff.